Hey, everybody, this is Perch. Let's go to the mailbag on this one. It says, Hey, Perch, I heard you on Wes's show on Thinking Critical, and I have to say, you are an annoying SOB. I have to say. I don't know why I'm reading that like in an old English. Like, I have to say, good sir, you are an annoying son of a bitch, and I come at thee. I know that's not how you said it, but it's how I read it. And reading it is half the battle or something. Anyway, all right. Back to I was an annoying SOB. Okay, you are annoying SOB. Your denial of basic facts when it comes to comic books and movies is truly awe-inspiring. I hope those publishers and producers are giving you heavy amounts of money for the amount of shill that you do. Fact. This is going to be good. Fact, : fact. Marvel Comics no longer sell for over 40,000 copies a month, down from regularly selling 4 million copies 30 years ago. Fact, : the last Marvel movie to make money was Endgame. Since that time, no Marvel movie has been profitable, with the only exception being almost Thor: Love and Thunder. Huh. It's weird that you picked that one, but okay. Fact. Artists and creators are more interested in simping for Palestine than they are for telling stories, and it shows. Fact. Channels that call out the truth are more popular, more successful, have more subscribers, and have more credibility. You keep saying that you're going to end your channel. Well, hang it up, man. We're all waiting for it. All right. Well, so that was hate mail. At least that, in fairness, that one, it didn't, they didn't go after my kids this time. So that's good. All right. Well, so here's the thing. Of the facts we had there, two are demonstrably untrue via math, and the third is an opinion, not a fact. Let's break it down here. So the first one, yes, there are Marvel comics, but it's wrong on two fronts. So number one, Marvel Comics, there are Marvel Comics that sell more than 40,000. Most of them, actually. 40,000 is not the midpoint for Marvel right now. The midpoint is somewhere around the mid-50s. Now, you might say, oh, that's same diff. Well, not really. I mean, 10,000 copies more is a lot. That's higher than a lot of the indies do. Spawn has its moments, but a lot of the Spawn titles sell at or below that number. So 40,000 is not true of what Marvel is selling. Similarly, 30 years ago, that would be what, the 90s? We're saying in the mid-90s, comics were regularly selling 4 million copies. That is also not true. So it's a massive exaggeration of what comics were selling. Were there some comics that sold that? Yeah, X-Men #1 in the early 90s did that. I think, I don't know, when Todd's Spider-Man #1 did that. I mean, it did happen. Death of Superman did that. I don't think Death of Superman did do that, actually. Well, I'll need to look that up. But anyway, yeah, comics occasionally got to that mark, but they were absolutely the exception, not the rule. Comic books were not selling 4 million copies on the reg, as they say. The next one, no Marvel movie has made money since Endgame, is also not true. There have been several Marvel movies that have been profitable. Now, have they been profitable to the amount that Marvel Cinematic Universe was regularly doing prior to Endgame? No. Before Endgame, Marvel movies were slowly hiking their way up into the billion-dollar range. And, it's also one of those cases where you have Captain America, or Thor is a better example. You mentioned Thor: Love and Thunder. I don't know why that one is the one that almost made it. That's strange. At any rate, you look at these movies, and typically what had happened is you'd get Thor 1, which made money, Thor 2, which made a little bit more money, if my memory is correct. It may not be. Then I think you got Thor Ragnarok, right, which makes more money. Same thing, Avengers, Avengers 2, Avengers Infinity Gauntlet, Avengers or Infinity War, sorry, Avengers Endgame. The movies tend to hike up over time. Same thing happened with Captain America. They tend to build. Now, if you look at the movies post Endgame, you've got Ant-Man 3, Quantumania, you have Captain America 3, you have Black Panther 2, you have Fantastic Four in there, you have Doctor Strange, Mouth of Madness. I mean, look, no doubt about it. There have been, the MCU has not been as strong, post Endgame. Absolutely true. But to say none of them made money, or we're saying that all of them lost money, all of them flopped, failed. No, that's again factually not true. Unless you really want to believe that those like the studios are lying to you, that are actually putting false numbers on their public filings, a prisonable offense, by the way. Then no, they made money. But with and then the third one is an opinion. It's not even a fact. All the Marvel writers are too busy simping for Palestine. I mean, was it Nadia Sheamus? I think Dita went down that path some. Danny Lore. I mean, there's been a handful of them, but nothing. I mean, the majority, no. The majority have said nothing. Now, maybe we want to assume they have, but again, this is one of those where it's an unprovable fact. So I can't prove to you. Like, if you ask me, prove to me that a majority of the Marvel creators are pro-Palestine. I couldn't do it. The majority of Marvel creators haven't stated an opinion one way or another. I think maybe is it possible? Sure. A lot of the writers and creators at Marvel are left wing, so it's certainly possible, but I can't call it for sure, nor can you call it for sure the other way. It's an opinion. And I guess this is the thing about kind of males like this. And, every now and then you go on shows and you hear people who are just really determined in their facts. And the sad part is, if they tweaked what they were saying just a tiny bit, it would go from being a, complete and absolute lie to, an opinion that you could have a good argument about. For example, if I said Spider-Man has not been written well since One More Day, I suspect some of you probably agree with that. But I don't have to prove it. It is by its nature an opinion. If I said it is a fact and everyone agrees, and no Spider-Man comic has sold as well since One More Day, I'd be lying. It's like a bridge too far. To me, it's a little bit like when it's like when people make stuff up that is kind of blatantly dumb, and then just stand by something that is a lie. If you say 2 + 2 = 5, isn't it obvious? And it's like, what is it? I think this is a line from, God, where did I hear this line? Anyway, it's if somebody tells you 2 + 2 = 5, isn't that obvious? The only thing obvious is that you don't know how to do math. That you're just dumb. And I think you could say things like math isn't useful anymore, math is too hard, math is taught poorly in schools. What's the point of math now that you have computers and calculators? All of those things are opinions, and some of them are smarter opinions than others, but nobody can absolutely call you out. With comics, I think you can say, comics are worse this year than they have ever been. Okay. It's an opinion. No one can actually prove you wrong. They might hold up comics that they think are better. They could say, a number of people could come at you and have a debate, but no, it's still your opinion, and you can stand behind that opinion. It's when you start throwing stuff out with that, where you're pretending that you have facts behind your side. So I don't know why people do. Be comfortable in your opinion. If I was to say, I did this recently on the show. I like this new Tom King storyline in Wonder Woman. I actually think it's pretty good. Wes does not. He thinks it's terrible. I think for him, it's the worst storyline in Tom King's run on Wonder Woman. He and I could have a good debate battling that back and forth, but neither one of us is, quote unquote, right. It's our opinion. One I'm on shake your ground with is when I say, Arby's isn't meat. Now, technically Arby's is disgusting, and that's a completely fair statement, but I'm sure there is some meat in there, or something that, chemically could be called meat. I mean, somewhere in that weird pink slurry of crap that they throw on to make your sandwich, there's something that, by law could be considered meat. If not, they have been sued by now. I mean, I know they're sued now for false advertising, but I can't, I'm making a false statement when I say Arby's doesn't have meat. I can't defend that statement. When I say Arby's is disgusting and you should, you're better off just going to the hospital and just pumping your stomach without the torture of putting more of that poison into you, that's an opinion. You may disagree with it, but I'm allowed to say it. I think with a lot of comics, there are plenty of examples where things are opinions, and you can easily stand behind those and you still get everything you want. But then you start throwing stuff in like no Marvel movie has ever made money since Endgame. And it's like, well, that's factually just wrong. Why stand behind things where you're on shaky ground? Why not stand behind your opinions? I honestly, your opinions are good enough. As for my channel, yeah, I mean, it will go away at some point. Sure, why not? Uh, it'll be fine. And for several of you, you could celebrate. I don't understand people who come on the channel and will post things like, I don't know what this guy's talking about. This video was pure torture. I mean, cool. Stop listening. God, you went 10 minutes and then decide it was torture? I mean, when I hear stuff that I think is torture, I'm out in like 10 seconds. It's like, I'm not sitting around for the whole thing to decide whether it's torture or not. You're under no obligation to listen to this channel or these videos or anything. And honestly, if they're torture, don't. But I think with all these things, to me, I get frustrated when people just completely ignore reality and facts when their opinion is right there. You always have the ability to just go with your opinion, which nobody can argue with. It's yours. But instead of going with your opinion, you double down on something that's complete bullshit, and I don't understand why. It is unnecessarily making yourself look and sound dumb when it's a perfectly reasonable argument to just call it something different. Anyway, I hope you find a channel you like, man. You keep searching. They're out there. As you said, the more popular channels than mine. There's tons of them. They will tell you what you want to hear. And I mean, I think for several people, it's one thing when it's your bad data and you're making shit up. And that's bad. I do wish some of these channels would not do that. I think there are several YouTube channels that just sort of throw out facts. Source, trust me, bro. And then another video comes out. It's like, source, the other guy, he said to trust him, bro. So I did. So these are facts now. I wish there was less of that, because honestly, I think it takes away from everything. You have a good. We need more criticism and more honest critique of comics. I think that's healthy. We don't need people making shit up. I think that's not healthy. Anyway, thanks for listening.